You know, if I could start working with spreadsheets from scratch again, I would tell myself to learn how to elevate the spreadsheets with very simple steps. I've been working with spreadsheets for over 20 years, but when I first started, I didn't think about what can I do to make this look good? What can I do to make this look better? There are a couple of very simple steps you can do in your spreadsheet. They're going to elevate them. And this is part 4 of building my assignment tracker spreadsheet. You might have noticed that my spreadsheets have the first column blank, and it's not the regular standard width of a column. Why do I do that? To give it a little breathing room. I do the same thing on the right hand side of the spreadsheet, especially on Google Sheet, because then I delete the rest of the columns. Basically, think about a little bit of padding, a little bit of breathing room in your spreadsheet. Another thing that I do in all my spreadsheets is to remove the grind lines. That makes it super clean. Of course, if you have a table, you'll want to make sure that people know where the table begins and where the table ends. If you have a lot of data in your table, I highly recommend that you do the alternating background color between each row, so it's easy for your eye to identify the values in each row. The other thing I like to do is to make sure that all of my cells are center aligned vertically. That will make sure that if a cell wraps, meaning the column is too narrow for the content of the cell, whenever the text in that cell wraps is going to stay centered, and everything else in that row is also going to stay centered. I also like to freeze my headers, so it's easy for you to identify what header each column has. Now on Google Sheets, if you freeze the header and you have a chart above it, that chart will not be frozen. So I decided to delete the chart and then freeze the headers because I thought that having the headers frozen was more important than the visual reference of the chart. Another thing that can elevate your spreadsheet is by resizing your columns. In Google Sheets specifically, you can right click on the column and tell it to resize according to the data that's inside, or you can just resize to whatever width that you want. If you like these tips on how to elevate your spreadsheet, don't forget to subscribe.